Right.
Hey everybody, it's Lynn and
Liam,
this
what's
is
up?
Liam, and welcome to the Ins and Outs, where we get together and talk about an article that we thought was really interesting related to sex or sexuality. This week we're talking about the love of my life, Harry Styles, and losing your virginity, which there's no overlapping. Although, as Liam likes to point out, there's probably a lot of erotic fiction on the internet written by people dreaming of losing their virginity to Harry Styles because he is a dreamboat, but that's not what we're talking about. We do this every week as a way to chat and to really socialize with you. So if you have an idea for an article for next week, let us know. Leave it in the comments. I'm using a lot of hand movements today because I'm wearing jewelry, so I'm sorry in advance. But anyway, Liam's going to go first, and we're going to talk about virginity. Take it away.
Cool, yeah. So my article this week is from Teen Vogue, which if you guys have never read Teen Vogue online, they do have like a lot of really great resources, especially when it comes to like sexual health and sexual like identity things. Some of the other articles about like famous people and things like
horoscopes. It's a lot of horoscopes.
A lot of horoscopes, which I'm not really like, I don't really read horoscopes, and they have a lot of stuff about like famous people, and I don't really care about famous people, but they have also really great information about trans folk. I've read some other articles on there about like, LGBTQ stuff, and then this one I read was, what did you want to know before you, what you wish you had known before you lost your virginity? So they asked like 24 different like people about things they wish they would have known before they lost their virginity. And the article starts off with like this, like disclaimer, right? Saying like virginity is a social construct. It's really heteronormative. It's part of the patriarchy. Maybe not in those exact words, but the same point. Which was really nice that they started off that way, right? They talked about like how some people consider like the hymen breaking losing your virginity, but the hymen can break for a lot of reasons. They talked about LGBTQ folk not being able to like, or how they may identify losing their virginity a different way, right? But then when you read the actual article, the article is very heteronormative. It's all girls saying what
all P and V.
Yeah, all P and V, all girls saying what they wish they would have known before they would have had sex for the first time. P and V, sex for the first time. Penis and vagina, sex for the first time. But besides for that, there were some like good common characteristics among them. Let me see. Okay, so a lot of it was focused on pleasure. Like they would have known more about what it was gonna feel like. Some people were like, I wish I would have known it was gonna hurt. I wish I would have known, like, I didn't feel anything the first time I had sex, and I wish I would have known that. I didn't orgasm, and I wish I knew that was okay. A lot of like contradicting information. Some people were like, I thought it would be magical, or I wish I would have known how magical and important it would be. And then someone else said like, I wish I wouldn't have cared how magical it was gonna be. One person was like, I shouldn't have told anybody. And another person was like, I wish I told more people. Like very all over the place.
Yeah. I wonder why that is.
I think it's because losing your virginity is just like a very like individualized thing, right? We all like have extremely different experiences losing our virginities. I consider like that I've lost like 3 different virginities in my lifetime. So all of those experiences were all incredibly different.
I have a weird association with having sex for the first time because it's the only time I've been to Friendlies. I went to Friendlies afterwards, and so like anytime Friendlies comes up, I think about like, oh, that's the only time I've been there is the first time I had sex. And so frequently I'll think about losing my virginity just because of how often somebody makes a Friendlies joke or you see a commercial.
Is Friendlies still around?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I've never been there since, so I don't know, but.
Oh, okay. Did you go to Friendlies like with the person you had lost your virginity to, or was it like you were super sad and ate a pint of ice cream?
It was after, yeah. And actually, so one thing I always regret that I can't tell students because I don't like to share personal things when we're teaching is, so when we're talking about, and I hate the phrase losing your virginity, but like losing your virginity, we always say like, and if you're not prepared with condoms, you should press pause, go get them and come back. And I always want to tell them that actually I found myself in that exact situation because we were not prepared, and he had to like go to a gas station and like go get condoms real quick and come back. And then afterwards we went to Friendlies to like celebrate.
That is very mature.
Yeah, but I can't tell kids that because I don't need them to know my personal beeswax in class, right?
I mean, I am much more open about my sex life, I feel like, with teenagers than a lot of my coworkers. But I also lie to them a lot about like sex. Not sex,
like
but
saying
like,
that you do things that you're supposed to do.
yeah, right. Like I will like make up things that like I've never actually done to like, you know, fill in a story.
Yeah.
Things like that. Not that I actually lie about the specific information. I definitely like, I'm like, oh yeah, like, you know, this one time that never happened.
Well, I want to tell them about this really great Friendly story. I did like that the article, one of the people said, I wish that somebody had told me that it would not be magical, because I do think there's this expectation that like, oh, it's going to be the most magical experience of your life. And besides, God, this is going to be like an ad for Friendlies. Besides going to Friendlies, I don't remember a single thing of it.
I feel very similar. I don't remember much about most of the 3 times I've lost my virginity. Yeah.
It's kind of like how kids these days are like, oh, I can't believe graduation is canceled and prom's canceled. Like I personally have zero memories from either of those things, and I feel sad for them that they're not going to experience it. But I would like to say, like, I couldn't even tell you what I was wearing.
My prom date ditched me the day of prom. Like she called me, was like, hey, I'm actually grounded and I can't go to prom. And she had known that she was grounded for weeks and she just didn't tell me. So I had to like find someone else to go with. And then so me and my other good friend went together, and halfway through I was like super bored. So we just bounced and went to a house party at an abandoned house.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a memory.
Yeah. And only like, so out of all the times I lost my virginity, only one of them was like actually anything like nice in any way. Like the other 2 times were just like bull.
Yeah. I feel like as a woman in this world, whenever you talk about penis and vagina sex, it's always about like male pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just want to tell kids when we're teaching them, like, it's probably likely that you're not going to engage in positive sexual behavior that is like mutually beneficial for like another decade.
Yeah, probably.
But
unless like you guys work at it, right?
Right, or unless you have like the coolest, wokest 17-year-old partner.
Yeah.
But even then, like teenage sex, you should have it if you'd like to, and you should be safe if you'd like to, but it's not probably going to be pleasurable.
So I actually feel a little bit different about that, but that's because I'm a dude who was mostly having sex with other dudes. And so a lot of the sex I had I started having sex pretty young, much younger than most people start having sex. And so most of the sexual experiences I had, not most, a lot of the experiences I had were really pleasurable and fun and great. And I think my partner also enjoyed them. Or the partner.
Yeah, I think it's different when you're the vagina owner in a penis vagina teenage patriarchal sexual society in like 2002. Yeah. Maybe things have changed since.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know, I probably shouldn't share like other people's stories, but like I have talked to like some people that I know who like have recently or more recently graduated high school, and they had some much more like, they had really positive sexual experiences, both the guys and the girls. So hopefully, like, I actually always hope that the education we do gives people a better like pleasurable sex experience, giving them like the ability to talk to each other about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the positive about like our super like sexualized society, right? Like now we're actually talking about it, even if I think sometimes that we have gone to a very far place from where I'm used to. So at least now we're talking about it, right? If all these kids are watching porn,
yeah, then
at least maybe they can discuss mutual interests before they go to Friendlies after.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if porn's really gonna help them with that.
it might like, hey, I watched the porn is bad for like 1,000 reasons, but there's also a lot of like positive reasons. And I think if you are watching porn and watching the right type of porn, you might value your partner's pleasure.
Yeah, but how many young boys are watching the right kind of porn?
That's true. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I think the education we do is probably more valuable than porn, or like it kind of adds to porn, because like I always talk about like, you know, with consent, like talk to your partner about what you want. Tell them like, I want you to do this to me. I love when you do this to me. Make noises so they know what you like, so they can do that, because that makes your sexual experiences much more pleasurable.
Yeah.
So is there anything you wish you would have known before you had sex for the first time? Besides for like, get the condoms?
I did not find it to be magical. I thought it was overhyped. I just thought it was silly. Like, I just did not think it was. He does not watch these. I don't think.
I think. Wait a second.
Liam, what is happening?
Live video, man. That's a fun.
No, it just wasn't magical, and it wasn't like the dream experience. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I like the first time I had sex with a girl, I had like a lot of like weird, complicated feelings afterwards. Probably because I'm gay.
That'll do it.
Yeah, so I wish I kind of like known maybe about like the kind of, there's another fire truck coming, just a second.
Are you in Buffalo?
Yeah. Hurdle man, always ton of fire trucks.
I hope it's not the Colony Lounge.
Oh, this was like really taking a sweet time. All right, now it's gone. Yeah, so I wish I would have been like, hey, I wish I would have had like any sort of sex talk. I never knew anything really about sex before I had it. But yeah, I wish I would have known like kind of like the emotions that you might feel after it, right? Especially with women, at least with my situation. But I've talked to like other like high school boys, and they'll like, one of them asked me one time like, sir, why do I feel like really terrible and regretful after I have sex? And I was like, oh wow, I never like thought anybody else had those feelings. But I guess it's a more common thing that like guys do feel like really like weird after sex sometimes. Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine girls feeling that way because of like, did I have sex with the wrong person? It's really important to save this stupid thing. Like, what if I regret it? You know, but I'm shocked that boys feel that way.
So I think it's a less less solid emotions than that. It's not like, oh, I regret, like, was it this right person? Was this or that? It's just like a weird feeling in your gut where you just feel like weird.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I also wish, so when I had gay sex for the first time, like receiving, I wish I would have known about lubrication because the first time we did it, we used baby oil, which was fine. But like a few times later, we didn't have any baby oil, and we tried soap, and that was not a good experience.
Oh my goodness. Well, yeah. Soap, I feel like it like dries out quickly, right?
I mean, maybe. So we thought like soap, like it's slippery. If there's a ring stuck on your finger, you put soap on it and it slides right off. And it's good for slip and slides. But when it's inside your body, it burns really bad.
Oh, it probably makes bubbles too, right?
It might make bubbles too. Was it, what's that thing? Not Mike Pence. The guy who like was super anti-gay and they made like his name.
Oh, not Rick Perry. The frothy, God, I know this. This is gonna bother me.
Right, it's gonna bother me so bad.
It's the frothy discharge guy, right?
Yeah. Santorum.
Oh yeah, Rick Santorum.
Santorum, yes. Like a soapy Santorum.
For people who are watching who don't know it, was it Dan Savage who did it?
Yeah.
He redirected Rick Santorum to like the frothy mixture of anal fluid and lube that happens after sex. So anytime you Googled it, it would be like the #1 search response.
Solid. One of the best internet jokes.
I still use that joke sometimes. I think I probably brought that up in like the last 3 months.
Really? Oh my God.
Yeah, well, my husband thinks it's very funny. It's like it's like savage behavior right there.
It is.
I do hate the word losing your virginity. And I do find it annoying that this article was like, virginity is not a medical term, it's a social construct. Here's all the things that we wish we had known before we lost it. Is it like nothing positive is lost, right? Like,
Yeah.
I lose things all the time and I get like this judgments. There's not, we should call it something like entering your sexual life
Sexual
or something.
awakening.
Like a, yeah, like a positive entry into a new world. Although the world is mediocre for a long time and not magical.
The first time I discovered my sexual body.
Well, it's like when you can buy lotto tickets, you think it's gonna be nice and fun, but really you buy one scratch off and you're like, this wasn't really great. And now like I'm 30 and I buy lotto tickets every week and I find it very fun and pleasurable. And so that's like sex. You're gonna enter it, you're gonna think it's fun. It might just be okay. You might win $10. And then later on in your life, you will find it to be a novelty or a pleasurable experience. What do you think of this example?
A lot of people winning $10 while they have sex.
No, but can you imagine winning $10 off a lotto ticket? You'd be stoked. And that's what pleasurable sex is like.
Definitely.
It's a weird example. I
like it.
I just like buying lotto tickets. So anything else to add on this one, Liam?
I don't think so.
Okay, so then the next one we're going to talk about is my article. And I forgot to look up where I found the article, so I'm looking it up now. So if I'm looking at the screen weird, that's why. So Harry Styles from One Direction, the best person from One Direction. Okay, it was on Bustle. He just released a new video, which is called Watermelon Sugar. And you should watch it, right? It's a good video. But apparently the song is all about oral sex, which I did not get that message. Did you get this message?
No, I did not get that message.
No, like it's supposed to all be about oral sex, but it doesn't, like the words aren't that explicit. I guess maybe if I listen closely, but the video is like sexy, right? It is what you'd expect, going to a beach, Harry Styles, attractive person with 20 attractive women, just having like a fun, he's like playing with fruit in a very sexual way, which is like weird to watch, but whatever. Maybe that's in your erotic Harry Styles fiction. But I picked it for two reasons. First off, apparently, so the video is like women rubbing on him and kissing him and like all sorts of sexual things, but apparently on set, he like modeled perfect consensual behavior. Like he asked all the models, is it okay if I do this? We're gonna do that. Are you comfortable with it? And like the models were really thankful because I bet you a lot of times like they engage in photo shoots where they're just treated like animals, which is cool. And then the other reason I picked it is because, Liam, are you familiar with Harry Styles?
I mean, like as much as I know he's a musician and I know some of his songs, and he used to be part of One Direction.
Okay, so do you know that he like mixes the lines of gender when he dresses? Do you know this?
Yeah, I knew he was like a fashion icon, right?
Yeah, and so I think there's like this stereotype that like men have to be macho and whatever, but he is on this beach wearing like a crochet knit shirt, which is just like in style, but whatever. I wouldn't wear it, but I get it, it's cool. He's got his fingernails painted. And so he's like bending the expectations of masculinity while like being mapped on by all these women. And I feel like it's a really good way to like question stereotypes of what it is to be a man. And it might help like convert people who have expectations of like masculinity, but then they see this man like picking up these babes with this nice pink nail polish, which I think, by the way, is the brand that I use. So yeah, I think it might be a good role model for teenagers. What do you think?
I agree. And so his what he was wearing in the music video, according to an article that was also on that same link, was right off the runway from like Gucci or something. So definitely like styling. And also whenever I saw Harry Styles, especially like after he left One Direction and kind of like got his own look, he kind of like harkens back to the whole like Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger kind of feel, I think. Not quite as like androgynous as some of the other like 70s guys, but definitely like, you know, scarves, flowy stuff. I think his stuff looks nice. I think he's a handsome dude.
Yeah, he's a babe.
Yeah. I also really like the way they described what watermelon sugar is about. Someone described it as like the mutual pleasure, mutual appreciation or pleasure for oral sex with each other or something. I was like, that is a great way to describe this, even though I don't think it sounds like that's what the video is about at all. I guess it is.
Well, and if you think about it that way, one of the lyrics is like, I can't live without watermelon sugar. So it's nice that he's like highlighting this idea that like, I can't live without like the reciprocal relationship with my partner that involves us both experiencing pleasure. But I still don't understand why watermelon sugar. I guess there's a Beyonce song, right?
Is there?
Watermelon seeds. Isn't that Drunken Love? I've been drinking watermelon. You don't know this line?
No.
Oh, apparently, so the line is like, I've been drinking watermelon, and it's supposed to be like semen, because like you're drinking their seed, and watermelon has a lot of seeds.
Huh.
Right? Like this is the thing, I think. I Googled it once, so I know it must be true.
I mean, it probably is. When I was a kid, Limp Bizkit came out with a CD called Chocolate Starfish and Hot Dog Flavored Water. And chocolate, it's about anal sex because chocolate starfishes are the butthole and hot dog flavored water is semen.
I had no idea. I know that album.
Yeah, good
You
album.
learn something new every day. But anyway, I really do appreciate that Harry Styles is like trying to question the stereotype of masculinity.
Definitely, it's really great that he does that. And I think it's great that like I feel like people more and more nowadays are doing this kind of like gender bending thing with each other, which is I think it's really nice.
Yeah, but I think that we live in like a nice little beautiful bubble where we don't experience a lot of like the not accepting.
Mm-hmm.
And so like the more people, kind of like how Gabrielle Union, have you seen, she is married to Dwayne Wade, maybe? And her, you know, so Gabrielle Union and I think Dwayne Wade have a child who is gender nonconforming.
Oh, yeah.
And there's been all this stuff in the news like, oh, I accept my child for exactly who they identify with and express themselves with. And so I think it's important that like wider groups of people, like if Dwayne Wade says this is okay, then it like makes it more popular, more mainstream, where like if like, I don't know, somebody from RuPaul's Drag Race, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like just a more popular culture acceptance. So maybe like the people who don't live in our beautiful little woke bubble will start to get the message and accept it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think like the more you see it, the more you hear about it, the more people accept it. Like when they were trying to like make gay marriage happen, they would talk about like how there's a gay agenda, right? And everybody was like, there's not a gay agenda, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, there definitely is a gay agenda. Like they were putting out so many shows with gay characters in them, which is amazing. I love it. I love seeing gay characters in shows. I hate that like when I was a kid, there were no gay characters in shows. And now like I watch Netflix and every single show has a gay character or a gay romance scene. And it's so adorable. And I'm like, oh man, representation. But part of that representation was to normalize people being gay. And so I think that's really, really important that we do have it more in your face so people realize these are just people, let's normalize it. Same thing with like getting, you know, Arab Americans not just playing terrorists, Black people not just playing thugs, like having this more diverse kind of casting thing.
Yeah, I agree. And Harry Styles is contributing to it with this beautiful pink nail polish. Do you know what the crochet top on? He's wearing like a crochet. This is going to be the trend for summer, just so you know, although if summer ever happens.
Yeah.
It's like a crochet top and it's like really sheer and like, so like Liam, they don't know this about you. I'm sorry to share this on our video, but like you would wear it and those nipples of yours that are always showing. Liam always accidentally shows his nipples through his shirt. They'd be actually showing because it's like crochet, so there's gaps in the yarn.
And they just like stick right through.
Just stick right through. I feel like I know them so well, but maybe I'll get to know them this summer if we ever make it out.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to, unfortunately. But somebody a person I follow on Instagram who actually lives in Buffalo, like he's someone like that used to work for Nax. He crocheted himself a top, a shirt. So it's definitely a style.
There was one on Shark Tank a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah, I've seen a bunch of it. Like, yeah, they are blowing up. Gucci.
It's gonna be, and he's leading it. But I think he's, I love Harry Styles, and I think he is a great role model for not having to be a standard expectation of manliness.
Although, is crochet tops, do you think they're really good for summer?
Well, I think no. I mean, is yarn good for like? You want to wear what, like a yarn sweater? Although it's breezy.
It's breezy, but it's gonna be hot. When you sweat, it's just gonna like absorb the sweat.
You're gonna get a weird suntan.
Yeah, a really weird suntan. Just not. I don't think it's like. I mean, I think it looks cool. I just don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, it's very bohemian.
Yes.
Which, by the way, I'm wearing in honor of Harry Styles. I'm wearing my most bohemian outfit.
You are. I am wearing a shirt that accidentally matches my background painting.
Yeah. Okay, well, this was fun. If anybody, like I said, have articles that they recommend us talk about or like topics, we could find some things. We are trying to not talk about coronavirus because everybody's talking about coronavirus. And so we are trying to like keep it fresh and keep it fun and keep it not related to quarantine.
Definitely. Also,
okay.
If you wish you'd known something before you had sex for the first time, leave that in the comments. Also, make sure you like and subscribe so that we know you guys are enjoying it and you guys get notifications when we post new videos every Friday.
Yeah, or maybe just like in the comments, rank your favorite One Direction members from most favorite to least favorite, and then I'll commenting on your ranking and comparing it to mine.
Hopefully she'll be nice about it. Our coworker Mo Madden was not nice about how people, not you, Lynn, but people in general rank S Club 7. Her and my husband Jay got into an argument about their ranking of S Club 7.
I don't even know a single member of S Club 7.
I barely know. I know what they look like, but I don't know their names. My husband, on the other hand, he'll tell you all of them, tell you why they're good, why they're bad, and then he'll argue with Mo about it.
What's their popular song?
S Club. Ain't no party like an S Club party.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's the only one
I can see why Mo Madden likes that.
Right.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. See you guys later.